Hi, you're watching Access Asia on France 24. I'm Olivia Salazar-Winspear. Coming up in today's show, the painful road home. We take a look at the asylum seekers returning to Afghanistan after being deported by the authorities in Europe. We meet the Chinese pupils prepared to travel thousands of miles to better their prospects when it comes to education, and breaking down caste barriers with their chart success. We check out the Indian pop stars creating new hits for a new generation. We're starting this week's programme in Afghanistan as our correspondents take a closer look at those people returning to the country, often against their own will. An agreement signed between the European Union and the Afghan authorities last October called for the return of 80,000 migrants whose asylum applications were denied. The EU's pushing ahead with the policy and people are being deported daily, but with little improvement in the security situation in Afghanistan, rebuilding their lives there is often an insurmountable challenge. Nazia Afzali and Camille Pomelec have this report.
A special aircraft, paid for by German authorities, has just landed in Kabul from Munich. It's a 100,000 euros flight that's carrying 18 Afghans back to their country. Among them is this 25-year-old who lived in Europe for 6 years.
The policemen arrested me in the street. They handcuffed me and I spent 2 nights in jail. Then they deported me back here.
This is the third such flight since the signing of a controversial agreement between the European Union and Afghanistan. In exchange for financial assistance, Afghanistan has agreed to take back 80,000 of its citizens whose asylum applications have been rejected. They will return to a country with a rapidly deteriorating security environment. For the moment, they are placed in the Afghan government reception center where they can stay for 2 weeks. After that, they must make their own arrangements. Syed arrived 2 days ago. He suffers from multiple health problems.
Sometimes my breathing stops and I have to use this inhaler.
Syed spent 17 years in Germany. His children are still there, along with most of his brothers and sisters.
I'm ill and I should be at home with someone to take care of me. I'm not able to leave the room alone. Sometimes someone helps me go up and down the stairs, but I'm like a prisoner in this room.
Since the withdrawal of NATO forces in 2014, the number of civilian casualties has continued to rise in Afghanistan. In 2016, a record 11,500 were killed. Terrorist attacks are on the rise all across the country, and Kabul is no exception. Yet, the European Union considers the Afghan capital a safe destination.
It is a safe place compared to the kind of safeness we can expect around the world. As I said before, we experience large-scale terrorist attacks on civilian populations. In Europe, we experience it in Kabul. That is part of the daily risk we all live with. It's also important that Afghans have a realistic expectation that they can't just take off, go to Europe and expect good things will happen. So we avoid these kind of situations.
In Kabul, an NGO is helping the expelled Afghans to find housing and employment and to provide psychological support to those who left the country a long time ago. This family has just been expelled from Norway. The children have never lived in Afghanistan before. "13-year-old Ali was wounded when a bomb exploded in a Shiite mosque just after their arrival.
The bomb blast made me fall to the ground. Then for the next 3 or 4 days, my ears were ringing. I could not hear well. And for 2 or 3 weeks, I had a hard time falling asleep at night. I had nightmares all the time.
Germany has announced plans to expel 12,500 Afghans by the end of 2017.
Just how far would you go for a good education? For some Chinese families, geography is no barrier, sending their children thousands of miles away for their schooling. These students are known as the parachute generation, often arriving alone at a very young age and then enrolling in American institutions. Parents hope that this early entrance into the US education system will give them access to the best universities, and they're prepared to pay top dollar for the privilege. Sarah Pizon reports.
Peng Shay is 12 years old. Kui Tong is 13. These Chinese students arrived in this American school just a few months ago. Their parents stayed in China, 10,000 kilometers away.
Yeah, I feel very nervous.
Why?
It's just first day and I don't know a lot of things. I want to stay here for 10 years. If I can, I will finish my college.
Peng Shay and Kui Tong now go by Zachary and Cheryl. They've chosen these American names to better integrate themselves. Their American classmates are amazed.
I wouldn't want to go away from my parents for a year or so I think that she's very brave, taking a step and coming over to America.
In this private school, about 50 Chinese students live and study far from their families. Americans call them the parachute children. They've landed in America's countryside, far from the Chinese megacities where they grew up. At night, Kyo-tung hangs out with her host family, who is also housing another Chinese student. It's a total immersion program with one objective in mind: attending the best American universities in the future. And for that, students must integrate early on.
I want to learn some American cultures because the schools and some study they are more better.
This year, 50,000 parachute children have landed in the United States. It's a new phenomenon, but it's also a business. This family is paid €1,000 per month to house each girl. Meanwhile, Kyo-tung's family is paying €45,000 for tuition a year.
I would be hard-pressed to do that. I wouldn't be able to. So I think her parents are giving up, sacrificing a lot for her.
Kyo-tung's parents call her every day. For them, her success is priceless.
Our daughter is very independent. She's autonomous, and we want her to have the best education possible.
Here, 2 out of 10 of the students are Chinese. Compared to their American classmates, they're paying 10% more on their tuition fee just to be here. This agency recruits the Chinese students that will attend these prestigious private schools. Behind this phenomenon, the goal isn't for them to obtain American citizenship. China wants to lead globalization.
Most of them will be going back to China to help with their business, as most of the parents are business owners. So they want their business to be more, we call it the most globalized.
Chinese families send their children on a short American exile with a big ambition in mind: creating a future generation of entrepreneurs capable of conquering the world.
We're moving to India now, where a new generation of pop stars are quietly battling the social divisions created by the caste system. Singers Gini Mahi and Raj Dadral have emerged as the face of a generation of Dalits. That's the group formerly referred to as untouchables. Their chart success reflects a desire to move on from the labels that separate sectors of Indian society and focused instead on the quality of the music. Anis Ban and Pierre Del Rio have the story.
The new face of Indian Dalit Pop. Still a teenager, Gini Mahi has recorded several hit songs about her community, consigned to the bottom of India's Hindu caste system and formerly known as untouchables.
I want to become the voice of these people. And yes, belonging to this community isn't an issue for me. I'm actually proud of it.
Gini's songs are especially popular amongst the younger generation of Dalits and can boast hundreds of thousands of views online. Like her, other Dalits also want to use music as a rallying cry against discrimination, but they face serious challenges. With 18 albums under his belt, Raj Dadral is a veteran, but still struggles to earn a living while shrugging off threats of violence.
Our community has been very supportive and proud from the start, but there were people who made threats on my life and told me that they would kill me because I was singing such songs.
Social media has helped these singers broaden their market and overcome limited resources. Dadral receives donations from Indian fans living as far away as Canada and has performed in Europe and America.
Now, because of popularity they've gained, caste barriers do not stand in their way. A lot of them, I think, we make too much of a mistake in placing the entire burden of caste emancipation on them. They are looking for conventional careers. They want to go to Bollywood, become Bollywood singers. They want to achieve personal success.
Discrimination based on caste is illegal, but stigma is still a reality in India and fueled a string of Dalit-led protests last year. These musicians have taken on the mantle of speaking up for their community, making sure their voices are being heard.
We're finishing off the show with an unlikely trio spotted in the streets of Hong Kong. Former US President Barack Obama, his successor Donald Trump, and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shared a joke and took some selfies together during the recent Rugby Sevens tournament. It wasn't the world's most informal diplomatic meeting, but in fact, 3 very convincing lookalikes. That didn't stop the local crowd clamouring for an autograph. That's all for this week's show. Remember, you can get more reports on France24.com. Stay with us for more news coming up in just a moment.
Middle East Matters, presented by Sanam Chantier.